Friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Marketing Your Practice podcast. Great to see you, to be with you, to hear with you. Where are you today? I do a lot of my podcast listening when I'm walking the hound or driving back and forwards from work. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a really great day today. In today's episode, I want to talk with you about what I recently learnt from the great chef, Gordon Ramsay. Now, for a long time, I have been being advertised to by Masterclass. Now, I'm going to talk more about that on another episode, though, but they've been popping up in my newsfeed on Instagram and Facebook, and particularly before any of the YouTube videos that I'm watching. If you're not aware of Masterclass, it's this kind of high-end teaching. It's education. So you have people like Gordon Ramsay teaching you how to cook, and Steph Curry teaching you how to play basketball, the Williams sisters teaching about tennis, and I finally succumbed and I bought it. It's not cheap. It was like $280 for a year, which I thought was kind of a lot, but I'm loving it. If you're thinking about kind of buying it, then do it. It's amazing. I'm so impressed with the quality of the classes inside of there. I'm so impressed with just the quality of the content, and it's beautifully shot. I've really got this thing when it comes to quality cinematography, and just to watch the episodes regardless of what they're saying, they're so beautifully shot. Anyway, I kind of was flicking through looking for something to watch the other morning with my gorgeous wife Lauren, and we kind of went on to Gordon Ramsay. And I'm not really a Gordon Ramsay fan. I wouldn't have said I was beforehand. I am now. I'm obsessed with him. If you don't know who Gordon Ramsay is, he's the British chef, probably best known for his tasty language. He's known to swear like a truck driver. And I was watching through this episode, and he was talking about his history, what kind of got him to where he is right now. So a couple of things I realised, or I didn't realise rather, is that he himself has 7 Michelin stars. And again, I'm not a food snob by any means, but apparently the Michelin star is the pinnacle for what a chef can kind of achieve as far as accolades and being acknowledged in their industry. So he has 7 of them personally, which is a super big deal. And his restaurants across the board, he's got 16 of them. So I didn't realize that I thought he was kind of more of a celebrity chef. I didn't realize that he was such a big deal as far as, what he's been able to achieve as a chef. So that was the first thing that kind of amazed me. The show starts off with him telling a bit of his background story. He was a kind of promising footballer as a kid, had a really nasty injury with cruciate ligaments and tearing Achilles and all that kind of stuff all at once. Not sure how that happened. And so we realized that he wasn't going to make it as a professional footballer. So what he decided he needed to do was look for another industry. His mum was a cook, and he always loved being in the kitchen. So he ended up kind of being a bit of a kitchen hand. And then they put him into some kind of feeder course that would have him working in hospitality, which meant he waited tables, he worked in the kitchen, he washed pans, and he soon realized that he had a skill set for being a chef. And so he was in a small country town doing the chefy type sort of thing and just loving it. He found his passion in life. And after about 12 months of being there, the chef he was working for said to him, so he's 17 years of age, that kind of helps kind of place in terms of where he is, says you've got to get out of this small country town because before you know it, what'll end up happening is you'll meet a girl, you'll get married, and you'll be stuck here. It's what happened to me. And he said, you're a gifted chef. You need to experience more before you settle down. So he went to London. He worked for a couple of years there. And he had this realization after working for a couple of amazing chefs that he needed to go to Paris. He says in there, I needed to become French. And so he wrote lots of letters. So first of all, think about what he did here, is he sought out who were the best chefs in the world at that time. And they all tended to be in around France, and particularly in Paris and some of the areas in around there. And he wrote them letters begging for him to just come and work there. And so whilst in those 2 or 3 years that he was working beforehand, he'd start to gather quite a reputation. And he was working his way up. He had to start right down at the very bottom again on some little machine, or he was literally making sauces. Couldn't speak any French at all, was right back at the very bottom again. So think about that. Would you be prepared to go right back down to the bottom to learn again? How are you as a student? This is where I'm going with regards to all of this. When you hear this story, it'll be no surprise to you that Gordon Ramsay is where he is today. And I'll share a little bit more in terms of exactly where he is. Starts right down the bottom, has to learn a language of which he said he had to learn very quickly because kitchens, if you've ever worked in a kitchen, they are a hostile environment. There's temperature and there's heat and yelling and busyness. It was one of the greatest preparations for me as a chiropractor and a busy chiropractor to know what it was to work in a crazy kitchen. In a kitchen, you can work for 6 or 8 hours and literally not have a moment to go to the bathroom. Like, I mean that. You are too busy to stop to go to the bathroom. Some of us think that we're busy, but until you've worked in an environment like that, you don't really know what busy is. He spent the next 7 or 8 years going from French restaurant to French restaurant to French restaurant, working under the very best people, chefs in the world. And every year he was doing this, he was going backwards financially. He was talking about 5,000 euro a year. That's what his wage was. So we're talking about kind of late 90s through this stage here too. So it might be a bit more than that. But he said he was building up credit card debt, and he did this for 8 years. He was literally paying for his own education, and he would learn a little bit from someone here and a little bit from somebody there, and then finally a little bit from somebody else. So fast forward 8, nearly 9 years, he finds his way back in London again. Eventually, after a couple of steps, opens up his first restaurant. He then gets his first Michelin star in 12 months. Again, opens his own restaurant. Within 12 months, he gets his first Michelin star. At the end of 3 years, he gets his second, and in 6 years, he has 3 Michelin stars. Now, this is unheard of in the cooking industry. Now, some of you that might be more obsessed about cooking then might be able to tell me there's other people that have done this. I'm sure there might be some others. But the rate at which he'd done this, he had managed to surpass many of the chefs that he worked for in France in a matter of just 6 years of opening his own restaurant. And as I said, he's now got 7 himself, and his restaurants have 16. His earnings in the last 12 months are in the vicinity of around about $70 million. And he's now the 19th highest paid celebrity in the world. Celebrity. So we're talking, he's a chef. We're talking kind of, actors, actresses, all those kind of people there. And he's, in the top 20 in the world. He invested himself in the early days. He was prepared to go backwards because he knew in the long game that he would go forwards. The message I want to share with you in this episode here today is really this. For so many of us, we're in such a hurry. And I get it. Our lives nowadays are incredibly fast-paced. We have people everywhere promising us results tomorrow. How can I do the 7-minute workout? No, I don't want to do the 7-minute workout. There's a 5-minute workout. Can I lose 5 kilos in 5 days? Well, come to me. I'll show you how to do it in 4 days. I can show you how to double your practice in the next 3 months. Well, I'll show you how to do it in the next 2 months. We see different people out there teaching us about marketing that, do this and I'll give you a bunch of new patients. In fact, in an episode recently, I shared with you the one thing that nobody tells you about marketing is that you'll fail more than you succeed. In looking back over the steps that Gordon Ramsay was prepared to take, it's no wonder to me that he's the success that he is now. He invested in himself enormously. For many of you, the results that you want in your life, whether it be in your relationships, whether it be in your physical health, whether it be in your family, or whether it be in your practice. And all that's standing between that result and where you are at the moment is time and you preparing to put in the time to learn. Again, in a recent episode, I said one of the most dangerous words, 3 words that you can be saying is, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to get more new patients. I don't know. I'm having some real stress at home with my family at the moment. I don't know how to fix that problem. Well, you do. We have access to the whole internet there. We don't have to travel around the world to work with these brilliant people. I now get to learn from, the great Gordon Ramsay for $280 a year. I need to invest in it. That's the thing I wanted to talk with you about today. I wanted you to do perhaps a little audit. It's what I'm doing at the moment, thinking, what do I want in my life? Who can help me get there? And who can help me get there faster? And what am I prepared to invest in that process, okay? Take some time. Think about that. That's all I've got to share with you today. I hope all is great in your part of the world. I'm sending lots of love and light your way. Until next time, gang, keep saving lives. Your community needs you. Thanks for all that you do. See you back here real soon. Bye. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out the Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work one-on-one with you to apply, implement, systematize, and help guide you and your practice to the next level. Now you can join me on over at adiomedia.com/join. That's adiomedia.com/join. I'd love to see you in there.